who were in charge. The majority would not allow one of the minority or two of the minority members of the board to put anything on the agenda.
Dave's not here, man.
And one of the things that they wanted to put on the agenda was open call to the audience. So there was no opportunity for the audience to speak, and the minority had no power to put anything on the agenda. The community
And this board was
rose up
elected,
against it.
and this board was elected by, there's a very tight 5 people that were elected on that board. There is no dissenting voice on that board. There is no dissenting voice. And as opposed to previous boards, there were dissenting voices. This board has absolutely no dissenting voice. So for us to have the ability to get one of those people to put it on the agenda is slim to none.
That's why you need a special meeting.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Everything that has happened since the election is in complete defiance of the CCNRs and everything else. I mean, let's quit fooling around. We can go and try to sit down and meet with them, but they've completely disregarded everything. So how far are we going to stretch it? So whatever we can do to force the issue, whether it be a recall election, it needs to be on the table. It needs to be.
Dale's been wanting to speak. Dale?
We can request, giving them a list of things that we feel are wrong that need to be addressed. Ask them to do a meeting within, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if they follow it up, and then at the end of the meeting, give the, okay, we need to see some action in the next 4 weeks. If not, then we can do the special election or special. But then I think they need to have the opportunity.
I think we
but they also need to have.
Adam LLC told them, you need to do this, you need to do this.
The Brown Law Group notified them. They were all emailed, they were all notified by email of what the bylaws said. They were all notified by email of what the bylaws said, and that they had to do the meeting.
But you're not going to get them to add the recall on the agenda, so it's going to.
I personally think that we need to work on getting 240 units moving with a semblance of 30% of those 240 units. And I think that maybe we need to get those 80 units started immediately, getting them pulled together. One reason why, so they're having a meeting maybe in July. You know, they told you that. They told Bill McGuire that. But maybe they will, maybe they won't. We don't know. And if they know that we're working as a force to get together 80 people to discuss a recall, you know, because it only takes, if we can get 80 units to come to a meeting to discuss a recall, or maybe we could even do, we could also send out letters to 240 units. Would you like a discussion of a recall? And if we can get 200, if we get some responses from those, and if we can get 80 in that response, so that we can discuss having a special meeting, or to call a special meeting. Yes, John.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
I am too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm throwing thoughts out there.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
But I agree with Kent in that they have been totally disregarding us. I agree with my husband, they've been totally disregarding us. And so I really tear inside as to whether really thought about what's going on here in the last month or so. And so this is your first time in the realization that there's something that's not right here. And, yes, John.
Well, please hear me out. So are you suggesting now that we have a special meeting for the purpose of recall?
I'm suggesting that we notify 240 unit owners that we have a discussion about, are we going to, can we put together a special meeting so that we can demand with this special meeting, if the board doesn't want to post, they don't have to post because there's going to be 80 units. And yeah, we can say there's not going to be, but honestly, we've got 28 units tonight. And that was just by notifying investors.
Yeah, but Liz,
We've got 28 units.
you have to respond to my question. My question is, are you suggesting that the purpose of this very first time we met with them is recall? I
I'm
think that's
suggesting
very
that we
premature.
discuss recall at that meeting.
Wow.
I am not saying that we recall. You don't think that we deserve the right to discuss what is going on in this board?
Absolutely, but
That's what-
I think it's premature to put recall on the agenda the very first time we sat down to table with
But
them.
like Ken said, if we don't put it on the agenda, we can't vote for it.
And
So
why are
Why
we
can't we call another
avoiding
special
a
meeting if
meeting?
this one is a flop?
Why are
do
we
have to
avoiding
rush
a meeting,
through
John?
recall before we sat down with dialogue? Sounds to me like we're just trying to kick it out without
John,
making a good faith effort
how
to
many meetings
dialogue.
have you been to this last year? How many meetings have you been to the last 2 years that you've lived?
Not enough, I'll tell you why. I got fed up with the contentiousness, so that.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Okay, so how
And
long
how
are we
many
supposed to give
meetings
them?
did you go to before you got
Call
fed
a
up?
meeting.
Simple.
2, 3, 4?
Maybe 4, I don't.
Okay, but in the 2 or 3 years you lived here, you've been to 4 meetings because we got disgusted with how they carried on in meetings. And now we've got a group of people that won't even, we've got a group of directors that won't even give us that opportunity.
Okay, because, I am not defending this board, but applying the same token. No, I'm not.
You are defending.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, damn it all, let's have a dialogue with them. Personally, I see some points in that mysterious
Do
letter.
you not think they should have had a dialogue with the property management
Can I
company?
finish this? Can I please finish?
I have many languages.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't.
I'm trying to get my train of thought back. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying, they're saying they want everything to be transparent. They're saying they want to have a totally transparent, open dialogue in the process. So I'm saying, at least for the first meeting, let's try
When
to
are
work
we gonna
with them.
have that
If we
first
decide
meeting,
after the first
John?
meeting we can't, then we can call another special meeting. I just can't see throwing out the baby with the bathwater and having recall be the agenda for the first meeting.
When
That
are they
just
going
does
to
not feel
have the
good to me.
meeting? Do you know when they're gonna actually call it?
They told my wife it would be the second week in July.
And I was told 3 or 4 weeks ago that it was going to be very soon, very soon. 6 to 8 weeks later is not very soon when they were supposed to hold it in 10 days after they were elected.
I'm not saying that we wait for them. I'm all for our calling special meeting. What I'm opposed to is making the purpose of the special
No,
meeting recall.
no.
I'm
The
opposed to
purpose
that.
of the special meeting is so that we, as a group of unit owners at Barcelona, hopefully if we can get 80 unit owners of Barcelona together to discuss what has or hasn't been done, and do enough people feel strongly enough about it that we could have a discussion about recall for non-performance from them.
Well, doesn't that imply then that we could actually
That does
do a
not
recall
imply
at
that
that
we're
first
going to
meeting?
have a recall meeting. No, that implies that we would have a discussion and it would be on the agenda that it would be a possible recall.
A
That's
possible
it.
recall at that meeting.
Oh, should we make them nervous? John, do you not want to make them nervous or hurt their feelings?
Do you not hear what the
You know, I wanna
chief
go
of
back to
the
what you
complex
said
was
several
doing?
minutes ago. Let's us be the better person.
Yes.
I mean, let's stop this damn
So
hardball.
why
Let's try
can't
to
we,
work together.
so why can't we voice our expectations? That if they don't wanna perform, if they don't want to do something, if they don't want to explain to us why they decided to do all of these things without having, that are totally against the bylaws, totally against the CCNRs, if they don't want to explain these things, you say that she told your wife that they wanted to be transparent. Is that transparent? When you do things that are in total disregard of what the CCNR and bylaws say, is that showing transparency? I think not, John, and I know you can't agree that that is being transparent. At what point will they decide to be transparent? Maybe if we have a meeting and say, you know, there's 80 units here, you guys don't want to get in line and do what you're supposed to according to the CCNRs and the bylaws, we will start recall proceedings.
Okay, I would like to suggest an alternative agenda item, an alternative heading for that. Say something like candid discussion of board performance and all owners' concerns.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, but that doesn't say
But if
recall.
we don't
That
say,
doesn't say
if we
recall.
don't say recall in there, at what point will we be
That's
able
what
to,
I think.
when we can pull another 80 people together?
If we're going to get all 140 units,
Do we want to get the bylaws fixed properly, or do we just forget it and bandage it
and
up?
then everybody's
That's the whole
building gets
purpose.
condemned.
If
Do you
we're
want
going to
everybody
put-
out on the
If
streets?
we're going to put a letter out to 140 units, 200,
The county could condemn any of these
hold
buildings
a
in the shape
recall
they're in.
election, we need to list the accountability for this board and what's going on. And that will get them behind us.
And then we use
Otherwise,
the
they're,
word,
it's just gonna be a cold.
and we use the word possible recall if you don't start getting your act together.
Right.
Well,
That's the word, key word is possible recall.
Yeah.
We're giving you a
It's
chance.
okay to
That's what I
say
said,
To
that's
start
not
playing,
a recall.
to start playing by the rules, or we're gonna recall you.
and list the
How simple do you want
accountability
to get
needs
it?
that we
I agree
have.
with you.
Okay, possible recall. Is that okay with you? Sure.
if a director or group of directors acts outside of the terms of the association bylaws, do they not have some personal liability that they could be liable for damages? I mean,
During my drive, they can do anything
I
they
think
want.
the
Actually, we found that out. We found that out. They're really responsible.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to
Yeah,
do.
it's-
You can't sue them individually or nothing like that.
Yeah.
they are not.
Because they're gonna, everybody's gonna
Even
make
if they're-
mistakes.
Even if they're
They
acting.
cause negligence.
But
in the-
we've never had a board that just does anything in mind.
No, we've never had that. Either
How far are we gonna let
outside-
this go to tear up the lawn without?
Yeah, there's nothing that says that.
There's nothing to say. And there, what happens, the kids.
Can you imagine if there is no grass around the pool, how dirty the pool will be?
The dust and the
The only place the kids
kids
have
will
to play.
What bothers me is the money they're wasting too on this.
Exactly, they're wasting
They're
our
putting a
money.
Band-Aid on, they're wasting our
Yeah.
money and our time.
Well, that's what I said. They're wasting money and then they're gonna, it's gonna cost.
Just
That's
because
what
it's
I'm
on our agenda doesn't mean that the
We
board
all
was
want
gonna
to
vote
vote
for
for
it.
I would recommend that in that letter.
Right,
Ranches and crazy, right, so many of the stuff we, it's been just so awful.
That's what I need.
I know, and we don't want it to be. That was why the invitation that you voted to be able to send it.
We have got
Sue
quite
more
a
money,
few.
'cause they
We don't live on the
have to have
property,
that.
we've got
All
quite a
we do is
few
one
unsigned
And,
letters.
and when you get those unsigned
Well,
letters,
see, I would
it
hope
just
at the first
comes
meeting we
out
can pin it down to
and that's what they happened. And there were too many people that believed
Manuel,
what that,
are
what
you
those
recording?
said.
They slammed them right.
Good, so that you can go back
I went over that.
and list all
And then we
this.
never did find out.
I wanted to make sure he still was.
And she did sign that. Yeah, and it was absolutely outrageous, saying that they've been doing it right.
Yes.
Discussion
40 years ago.
On the next
Nothing's
agenda,
been
I
done
think
since.
every
Well,
time.
You don't bring recall up at the meetings. With reference to
Okay,
the
so
document.
I thought I was
Yes.
hearing, well, let's try to recall this
Should-
first meeting, I thought that was premature. That's all I was
Included
trying to
on the
say.
agenda, discussion of
Because
grievances.
if they don't get their act together, then it's.
Discussion and
They all say the same thing.
Yes,
And recall
and
is on
the,
there.
and possible recall. It needs to
Don't say possible.
Don't say possible.
And
yeah,
Don't give them the next meeting.
yeah.
having the meeting doesn't mean that the recall passes, but it means that after the discussion, at least you have an opportunity to recall.
People,
Yeah, well, it's good to meet you. Boy, I can say it.
Ken, would you?
Nobody's looking over them, make sure they're counting that money right.
Jonathan?
I would just suggest that a letter go out that lists the grievances that we mentioned,
Marianne?
the grievances we've mentioned, and document them relative to the bylaws and the CCNRs, if that's also relevant, and that it state that that we would have to put a date that we would have a special meeting if there is sufficient support, and that it include two items at least. I don't know, people might want to put something else on, but at least two items. One is discussion of grievances, and the second is recall. Putting recall on the agenda does not, the purpose of putting it on is not necessarily to recall.
Right.
It's
But you're
to allow there to be a vote on recall if the group chooses to do so, and then what they choose to vote for or against. If it is not on the agenda, it will not be possible to vote on recall at that meeting.
So they can either
So you're
choose or
saying,
not choose.
you're saying you want to leave the door open for recall at the very first meeting?
Yes.
I'm saying let's give them at least a month to see whether or not they are willing to walk the walk.
Well-
If they're not, then let's put recall on the agenda for a second meeting.
John, they've had
I
6
understand.
weeks to walk the walk. I don't,
They haven't been
that I'm not
walking.
understanding from you, John. They've had 6 weeks, 7 weeks. That
Yeah,
part
but
I'm not
we've never had
understanding
an open
from you.
meeting.
And
I know, because they haven't called one, John.
I still think it's premature to threaten recall at the very first time we sat down and table with them. Give them
Why
another
have we
bloody
not
month.
had a meeting, John?
And John,
Why?
I respect your concern
Should we take a
for
vote
their
on
feelings.
the people
No,
that
And
have their right
to model
to be represented?
this searching
Yes.
for understanding.
Because it's
And
just going
if I were you,
Yeah.
I would vote
And then if more than
against
half
having
sitting
that
here want
meeting.
it to be like that, then it goes
I
that
want a
way.
special
More than
meeting, but I
half want it the
don't
other
want
way.
That's
So
a great
then let
recall
it
on
should-
the agenda for
That's
the
a
first
great
meeting.
idea.
And I
Because
respect
then
your
as a
desire,
group,
your,
we are all in the same
your
place.
thoughts on that.
Yes.
I disagree.
Gentlemen,
It's just a
Gentlemen.
civil thing, I mean, it's just,
Joanne
they're taking care of
has a,
business, business is.
Joanne has a
One month to see
request,
whether or
which
not
I
they
think
can
is a
walk the
really
walk.
good request.
I think that no matter how many of us or no matter what units are represented, there's always going to be an opinion in which direction to move. So I say that we've all had a chance to express what our feelings are and the way we think, from our own personal experience, what we've seen put into it, taken out from it, what our life experience also goes into it as to how we like to deal with people. But I think at this time, to remain strong and as a group, maybe we all need to put up the 2 areas that we're all discussing back and forth and putting our feedback into. And one is that whether or not we make recall an option at the first meeting, or shall we just put it on, should we just speak about it so that it's on the agenda for the second meeting? So this way we'll know how the letter goes out to invite people to the meeting. So
Yeah.
I have a suggestion there. How about you make the letter with a place to initial that whether you want, in other words, that you sign, I want to call for a special meeting. You initial, I also want this meeting to have this recall on the agenda. And then that becomes a vote. Everybody can support the meeting, and they can either support the recall as part of that agenda or not. And
Okay, but now with the special meeting, do you need a certain percentage
you
of
need,
the content?
you need
Yes.
1/3. You need
Okay.
1/3.
Now, I just
Now,
want
I
to
think
present this.
I think we need to mail those out by U.S. postal mail. I don't,
Yes.
you go put them on
No,
the door
no,
and,
we
and
need
all of a
to-
sudden somebody's
yes.
gonna get assessed for
No,
littering and fines
no, we
and-
need to.
and problems, and somebody will be
Our-
taking them
our
off the
last-
doors.
Our last letter, Jackie did not get reimbursed yet for the 240 stamps that she purchased to mail the letters out. Yes.
I think postal mail, I mean, that's a federal crime to
There's also
mess
too
with
many
postal mail.
people that don't live in the condos.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay, and now,
But
question
I
about
think too that needs to be sent to everybody, whether they can come to the meeting or not, and have a box there that they can check as to, if they can't come, how they would feel about having a discussion of it,
Okay.
of a recall.
Well, how about, or how would you feel about having, giving, also putting down the option, giving them one lump to see whether or not they can walk the walk, and then if not, then put it on for the second.
Well, that's what we're gonna vote on right
Yeah,
now.
that's what we're voting on.
Okay, let's
What do
try a
you
show
not
of hands.
understand?
Well, the thing is, we're all entitled to our life experience, so we get a chance to vote on it. So who would like to have the meeting so that we could discuss it there for possibly the future, so it's just on the agenda? This would be to present it so that it's on the agenda for a future vote for a recall. So how many people would like that?
I don't see how that even works.
What, yeah, say that again, I'm sorry.
Well, the first vote is, the way I understand it, is that if we get our meeting and we attend, part of the agenda is speaking that in the future there'd be a recall if we don't see performance. Okay, that would be the first vote. The second vote would be that we start now petitioning to get the numbers that we need for our special meeting where people have the option to vote, right, for a recall?
It would be the option to discuss a recall.
Right.
Because if
Okay, option to
enough
discuss.
people aren't interested in discussing a recall, there would be no need to go
Yeah.
forward further
Well,
on
my
it.
other question, that's, before I lose my train of thought, for this last vote, only 102 people took the time, 102
Correct.
units. Okay, so if we, as a group, it seems to me like this is one side of the thinking versus what's in there presently. So would we even have the numbers to go past and take it back, you might say?
I think if the case is presented logically in the letter, what has been done, what has not been done, the future of Barcelona.
And
what-
link it up to the bylaws also, because
And the possibility of losing the entire community.
I have to tell you, like, I'm not real proud of this. I have gone to some meetings and I do try to vote. I'm not at all of them. So sometimes when I get the letters and I don't know where they're coming from or what the
Right.
agenda is of the people that are sending them, that
Right.
there's sometimes your head just spins. And you really get to the point where you just want to throw it in the garbage. I have taken the time to call Sandy up to find out the ins and outs and ask my 101 questions.
We did not get the letter that said for this annual meeting. And so, not everybody, whatever the reason was
Is even notified of the.
for the, yeah,
For
we
the
did-
election, you didn't get one?
We did not.
Oh, interesting. But, so
I
that's
know
why it
Smithy
has to be
didn't
so,
either.
instead of telling the ugly story, you know, about the grass and this and that, where you just wanna go like that, I think that they really need to see where on our bylaws this is, and why that's important,
Right.
you know, that type of thing.
Now,
But
this
it
makes more
has,
sense.
it
so
has
what
to
do
be
you- what do you
logical and
think-
it has to be decent.
What do you think that we should be voting on tonight? It seems like there's two agendas here, to give them a chance to have their first meeting and then present it if we need to.
They've
That's
had
one
the
agenda,
chance.
and then the other one is to start the process for discussion, is it? Or
It's
is
a
it-
It's to
discussion
start
of
the
possible.
process for the discussion.
Okay.
And then if it leads to that, to a recall, fine, we will do a recall vote. But to say that, well, they need an opportunity, I can't understand that simply because they have been emailed, they've been phoned, and they still have chose to disregard. They were told there are certain things you can do, and I can understand it if we had a 5-member board that had never been on the board before and didn't understand the procedures, but Jim Coombs has served on numerous boards. Roseanne Enriquez has served on numerous boards. And yes, I think that we need to go, I would like to see a vote sent out to people, and like Charles said, to put down there a line. Would you like a discussion?
Just think real quick, I feel bad.
So how many people in here want to be represented that way? Just do a show of hands.
I think it's going to be difficult.
So then it seems like that's what our conference
And
No less two
this is
times.
far more serious than the grass. We all know that.
Yes, yes.
We have to list their accountability
Yes.
on there
And
so
that,
that they
and
will
that,
know that.
and that will be
Those
done.
individual owners need to know
Okay.
what they're accountable for.
If
And
I
so
was-
we haven't
if-
done it.
Right.
If I was to get a letter, one of the options was discussion recall, I would take that literally, discussion, sure, let's discuss it. But in actuality, we're talking about, let's discuss it, and let's possibly have a recall at the same meeting. I think it's a misleading. way of
We
putting
could
it
put
down.
discussion and possible recall.
Yeah, I think that, at least that is,
Okay.
giving full
All right.
disclosure.
Yvette, are you writing that down? Okay.
Okay, would it be possible in this letter to enclose a postcard size with an address on it to mail to, and the voting on the other side, what you need to check off, just to make it easier for people to get that vote in? That,
Just to do it on a stamped postcard?
if it's stamped or not,
Yeah.
but just a postcard that can be, they can put a stamp on and put in the mail, so it's just right there. So it makes it a little easier and a place for their unit number.
If it doesn't have a stamp on it, you're not gonna get near as much.
Yeah, I'll
back.
tell you, I love those pre-stamped things. I love those postage made. You know, I think most of us, if we don't have to worry about paying the postage, Jackie, if we don't have to.
Jackie loves to.
Well, and you know, maybe everybody can, and maybe everybody can pitch in, you know, a few bucks to help pay for the postage, you know?
We
and-
can all, I think we can all do that, but just the fact that, you have one that's stamped.
Yes.
It's not even the price, it's just the fact that you have to go.
And
get
find a stamp.
Yes.
Yes, I know, and one that's current
Yeah,
too.
he's a good, how much is it for what
Yeah.
it's already and all that.
How does that sound to you, Tim?
I think it's a very good compromise.
Okay, yeah. And so, shall we take a vote on doing a stamped, addressed envelope?
Not on the postcard.
Or postcard? A stamped addressed postcard, yeah. A stamped addressed postcard.
$2 on the table if you say yes.
Yes.
Right, you don't have to take that from your income. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Here's $20 for the first portion,
Yeah.
for my portion, let's get it.
We need a collection basket. Do we have an empty cup here? Because we also, We also don't want to forget these nice people that have been taking care of us tonight.
Here's another.
And if everybody will leave some change on, or, you know, $2 on the table for the waitress too.
We will be out of town.
Now, if we do a special meeting, it needs to be after the 16th of July.
I can't find my wallet. I'm gonna go exercising after this.
I'm trying to double from everybody.
Sorry, but I left my purse and I walked over here, so.
Okay, now, hold on. Let me,
240 regular stamps and 240 postage stamps. Yes, come out right there.
Yeah, right, you know, when you were tired,
I'd be happy.
I lived there for 37
wow.
Right.
You know, I think that maybe our next step is to get some.
Well, I'm gonna finally speak, but do you have anything else to say, or we can?
No, I think we need to go a couple of steps further.
Okay.
Kent has volunteered on helping with verbiage,
Okay, perfect.
okay?
Liz, it probably should not come from you
No.
because people are gonna think it's.
No, I would be delighted for it not to come from me.
We can help with writing, but neither one of the two of us,
Yeah.
or maybe Jackie or
And, yeah, we don't.
Should get
want
involved
Rusty
in
to
this.
do it. We don't want Manuel, we don't want me, we need.
No, it
we
could be
need
John
fresh
and I
voices.
and Yvette again, and who is this letter?
The other card I can help. Said the other card, give us a name, a committee name, and put the letter in the name of the
Yes, and, I need some money counts later.
okay.
Is the letter going to be ready?
I think we should get that letter done in the next few days. Today is Thursday, I think it would be wonderful if we could get it out by
Monday.
And do you think they'll get a chance to see the film?
I think that we need to make that available. And you suggested putting it on YouTube.
Then anyone can go there, we can give them the email address, and
I
just,
would-
whatever the label is, if it's on YouTube.
I would love that. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Because those that don't live here that are renting theirs out.
And that's, and we can put that, we could put that in the letter too.
Yeah.
Okay?
That is so readily available.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, everybody, we have $140 that we just collected for postage, okay? So that will go to, our envelopes and to our postcards. And is everybody amenable to giving the balance to Jackie to pay her back for what she's already put in? Not gonna be much balance, yes,
There's
that's
not gonna
true.
be a balance.
No, there's not gonna be enough.
There's not enough?
No.
No.
145.
Okay.
145 is not enough.
If we've got 50 cents, I know it's like 40 cents for a letter. So we've got 240, so $140 is only enough for the envelopes. Is there anybody that would like to cough up a little bit more? I know some of you already put in like $20 and that's beyond. If we can just get how much does postage cost for postcards? Do you guys know? Anybody know?
We're spinning our wheels.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say 30, so that's 60, about $70 more. Okay, so we could use about $70 more. Do we have maybe $5 from
Are
some,
we
a few
talking
people?
about legal size or regular size envelope?
The 9 by.
Number 10, yeah, it's called the number 10.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we
Could we,
got
could we put in that letter, Because of the price of postage and stamps, please furnish your email so we can continue to keep in
Yes.
touch with you.
Yes.
And knock out the.
Yes. Is everybody good with, if Joanne volunteers, is everybody good with Joanne getting the initial
Emails.
letter going and I know that Kent will help you out in the verbiage, and does anybody else want to volunteer to,
I can
to
help.
preview and so forth?
He
Okay.
has all the information
Okay.
recorded that they.
And I've got the database for all of the mailing, so I'll go ahead and get all the envelopes printed and the postcards printed.
Okay.
Okay, so that I can get those furnished. I also, I can have the ability to print out the letters too, so
Okay.
I can print them for you.
Sounds good.
Print the
So-
postcards and cut them.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. I get your cardstock and cut them up, yeah. And, okay, so I'm just, Kent, you're green.
Kent, I guess I'm gonna be working
Okay,
with you then
we've
on
got-
the letter.
And I'm gonna give you some.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what we need to figure out. Here's
If
my
we could just
phone
get a
number.
few more people to donate a little bit more money. If you haven't already donated, if you've donated $20 already, don't even go there.
The
But
resident one?
if people could donate a little
Mine's
bit more
here.
money.